Last time on She Rules the Waves, I gave you a short introduction to my plans for this channel. I talked about my sailboat model research and the story about how I ended up with Alva. This time I'll continue with the first sail from Gothenburg on the west coast down to her new home port of Limhamn in the south of Sweden. And I'll give you a tour of the boat. If you do like these videos, please don't forget to subscribe. So this is the marina where Alva is going to stay. But before I could get her home, I had to drive back up to Gothenburg to close the deal and stock the boat for the passage south. I also picked up the cradle and tarps and stuff that people usually use to put the boat on the hard during the Scandinavian winters. And then I drove back home again. Just a few days later, I hopped on the train with my parents, who volunteered to be the crew for this passage. It was a beautiful summer day in the beginning of September. The sun was out, the weather was hot, and there was absolutely no wind. Figures. So we had to motor out of this breathtaking archipelago. But who cares when you're joined by dolphins? Vi har sett tumlare som ni såg på den förra bilden. Då blåste det ingenting, men nu blåser det faktiskt aningens. Nu seglar vi i 3,5 knop, ser man där.
Vi har det jättebra.
Ja, vi seglar.
Och vi har gjort kaffe under gång. Så här
Smakar gott.
ser det ut. Unfortunately, that's all the wind we got that day, and we decided to make a stopover in Bua. We had a beautiful sunset dinner in the cockpit and a good night's sleep. The next morning, the wind was back, and we left for the crossing of the Sea of Kattegat. Hej då, Bua! But since the wind came from the south, we pretty much had to tack our way out to open water. The hot summer weather from the day before was also gone, and we had to put on some more clothes, jackets even. But the speed and the handling of the new boat more than made up for it. Unfortunately, the wind died down once again, and we ended up having to motor into the sunset on our night passage crossing of the mirror-like Kattegat Sea. However, during the night, and sadly we don't have any footage of this, the wind picked up considerably, and in the dark we got hit by gale force winds, and we had a hard time holding our course around the Cape of Kullen. In the early morning hours we decided to follow the lights into the safe waters of Höganäs Marina to get a couple of hours of rest and a well-deserved anchor beer. But the next morning, we kept on going. Against the strong wind and current, we fought ourselves south through Öresund towards Malmö and Limhamn. I actually had a gig at a local festival that night, so it was imperative to arrive in time. After a few twists and turns of motor sailing, we ended up having to dodge a regatta on our way to the home port. It was really cool to see them hanging off the sides of the boat, tacking their way through the competition course. See them picking up speed when they hoist the spinnakers. And we managed to stay out of their way. We managed to make it back to Alva's new home port, and I even had time for a well-deserved shower before my show that night. So, here she is in her slip, and as I promised, I'll give you a short tour of the interior. I'll get into a lot more details about upgrades and solutions that I made later on. The cockpit enclosure is a must when you sail in the Scandinavian waters. It really gives you an extra room of living space. The roomy cockpit was one of the must-haves on the checklist that I made. With or without the tent up, I've spent many summer nights, rainy breakfasts and sunset beers here. But let's take a look inside. Welcome inside. This is Alva. The salon. We have the chart table on the right, starboard side, and the berth. The starboard settees also got a lot of room underneath for storage. There's like all the tools and fire extinguishers and other things, and you can turn this into a sea berth using the cloth that you turn up like this on both sides. And if you just want more room, you can also pull this up and attach it up there to make it a nicer berth. On the port side of the salon is the U-shaped settee. There's a lot of storage room under these parts on both sides, the front and aft. I usually have like pantry stuff and beer, and then the whole settee over there is also storage underneath. And table folds down to make a double berth if you want to. And then of course we have the little cabinets and shelf up here behind Lacey, and this beautiful warm light that I love. Doesn't matter if it's summer or winter, it's always lovely. And we got the barometer and the clock over there and some frames, and we got these words of wisdom. If you litter in the ocean, seahorses will find you and kill you. True that. And then we have the V-berth, where my sons usually stay. It's full-length beds on both sides, and if you put this one in, it becomes a double. There's a lot of storage on the sides and LED lightings, of course, and also a little storage in the front. We usually put the fishing gear and stuff like that, and the skylight. From the inside, there's the sliding door if you want privacy. Alright, so going back out in the salon, we have, as I said, the chart table, and on this side we got Lacey. Say hi to Lacey. Hi, Lacey. And, of course, one of the most important parts of any boat, the galley. We got the 2-burner propane stove with the oven and Well, you know, it's kind of nice. We got the drawers for utensils and pots and pans and stuff, and then we have spices and the heater controller. And the cabinets back there holds a lot of stuff, and of course we have the refrigerator and the double sink with same here, foot pumps with fresh water and seawater. And here's the companionway, and under the box here is the engine, the Volvo Penta, and you can remove this whole box and there's a lot of accessibility for the engine. And behind the galley here we have what I call the master cabin. It's my room, and it's actually, you can actually sleep two people here, like a backwards V berth, but I decided to put the bed on the other way from starboard to port, because it's just me and there's a lot of room that way, and I can use the rest of it back there for storage. There's the inflatable dinghy and the stand-up paddleboard and stuff like that. And on the other side there, here's actually, it's dark, you can't see, but it's a bike in this little bag. And then there's a closet over there with shelves, and on this side we have a closet with it's a hanging closet, and you can actually use this hanging closet as a door if you want some privacy for. See? Cool, eh? And there's a window on each side in the hull and in the cockpit, with mosquito nets if you want to have that in hot summer nights. And down here we have the heater and some shore power and some 12 volt power, or USB actually. And on the side of the companionway I usually put the hatches. There's a bunch of different ones. And on this side we got this ingenious little thing. It's a cockpit table. Take this legs, screw them on, screw them into the floor of the cockpit, and you have a table. And you can also, if you want to, put that in these little holes on the floor of the salon and get a huge eating table. Seat a lot of people down here. The navigation table got all the electronics, switches and fuses, and you can see the solar power. There's no sun at the moment, and voltage and battery management system and stuff like that. And of course in here there is charts and other things that you need. And then in here we have the head. There's a manual pump toilet and a sink with foot pumps, fresh water and seawater. And the little cabinet up here, a little room for storage. We got storage underneath, of course, and the little lamp that heats up the room pretty nice. If you don't have the heater on, because there's actually a vent for the heater too. And behind this little thing there's a storage, and there is the black water tank that you can choose to empty from deck or empty out into the ocean where that's allowed. And then we have the little Gobius black water tank meter. It shows you if it's time to empty it or not.